So here we are at our long-awaited destination of Bona, and sitting next to me is the owner of Bona, Glen Weinzimer.
Wow, you did that on the first try. I'm impressed.
Isn't that amazing?
That is amazing.
It's almost like I could read and write.
It's almost like you practiced.
Almost.
And there's actually two owners, but I'm the one talking to you. There's also Mark Bird.
Yeah, we've heard about him. He was floating around here earlier.
He's a good guy.
So one thing I'm kind of curious about here, this
Sure.
is a fabulous restaurant, makes a beautiful presence on the drive. Coming down, you can hardly miss it. It's almost like this giant landmark there. But we have explored throughout the drive here a variety of places that claim to serve pizza.
No.
You, I think, despite the fact that I don't see it, you hold the crown. What is the secret to the pizza at Bona?
Our pizza is basically New York style pizza. I grew up as a New Yorker, and Chris is our chef, is our pizza chef, and his crust on his pizza is amazing. And the ricotta meatball is my favorite, although just plain cheese is probably one of my, it's your go-to. But yeah, I love the pizza, and when it comes out of the oven, I wish we sold it by the slice, because I would be eating a lot more of it. So I'm actually glad we don't sell it by the slice. Yeah, in many ways, yeah.
So tell us a little bit about the story of Bona. I know Bona, Mark told us earlier that Bona is the longest continuously operating restaurant in Wilton Manors.
Yes. That
it does have a very long history here.
Yes.
And that when you purchased it, it was already called Bona.
It was.
So why Bona? Do you know?
I think it was a takeoff on Bono, and the guy who originally owned it, my understanding is had more than one. Would you like some pepper?
Quite well.
And we decided not to change the name. It had a reputation. Honestly, when we took over the restaurant's reputation in the community was mixed, but it had a basic clientele. And we knew that if we changed the name, it would mean renovating the entire place, and everyone would immediately come in and judge us and say it's no better than it was. It looks exactly the same. They didn't do anything. We wanted to build on it. So we kept the name. And then what we did to reintroduce the restaurant to the community is we started what we call Give Back Monday. And every Monday we give back 10% of the house to local nonprofits that we care about as a community. So it could be the World AIDS Museum. It could be Pavarello. It could be Stonewall Museum. It could be DD Senior Dog Rescue, the Pet Project, Pavarello. Like, the list goes on of all the organizations, mostly LGBTQ, that we care about and the community may or may not know so much about, but it gives them an opportunity. And for us, you may not have liked Bona originally, but you came in because they liked art and what art stood for. So if you liked the cause, they came in for you and they thought, I'll buy an appetizer. Then they came in and they ate dinner. And suddenly they became fans of the restaurant. And it was a lot more effective than running ads in say, any of the rags. You know, tourists are great. They give you the gravy during season, but we can't survive in the summer without locals. And the locals are the ones that we wanted to get the support from. And we survived COVID because of the local community, because of those Monday nights. People wanted to see us survive, and they went out of the way to bring to be here.
Now, I understand from what Mark told me that when you first came in the door and decided that Bona was going to be your new project, it was really only about a third of the size of what it is now. It's just the one.
It was the bigger side. This side had been closed off. They had open stanchion and very heavy red drapes everywhere.
So like a bordello style.
It was kind of like, but a bordello in as much as that Pavarello, which is one of the food banks around the corner, has a thrift store, looked at the furniture that was in here and said, we couldn't sell this. It will cost us more to dispose of it. So we got rid of it, and we got rid of what looked like a New Jersey basement bar. It was dark and heavy. There were drop ceilings in chocolate brown, and we partnered with Arch United. We got rid of the ceiling, raised it, and then right around COVID, we got our full liquor license. We always had beer and wine. And then, now we've made this a destination in itself, this little room. We're calling it the aperitivo room.
Now, I don't want to, cast any aspersions or anything, but it looks to me when I walk in the door that somebody put kind of a gay twist on it and fluffed it up and made it look a lot better than it would have looked when you first purchased it. Do you have a secret gay person in your pocket somewhere that you pull out for this?
There's been a lot of gay people in my pocket.
Oh.
Sometimes I'm not wearing pants when that happens, but they've been in my pocket. There's a little bit of flair, a little bit of fairy dust that's floating around, and we did redo the floor and the entry and the cabinetry and stuff like that to make it more appealing. Get rid of some of the pressboard furniture and the line of chairs, like it was a waiting room for your final exit.
Now, I noticed we're just looking at some of the items that they brought out here. You know, they have a very authentic kind of Italian look to them. It doesn't look like you've tried to get too foo-foo with the salads. You've kept to the roots and, you know, done the good traditional basics of the food.
Yeah.
But the beverages, you know, I'm noticing you sitting here with a cocktail that has a gigantic slice of watermelon.
I like that idea that you said gigantic.
So you didn't hear the rest of the comment.
No, I did.
It's all
I
about
stopped at gigantic.
Gigantic.
It's Wilton Manors.
Bigger is better, right?
Bigger is better, indeed. Yes.
What is that?
So that's a watermelon spritz that we came up for this summer because it has, as you may have noticed, it's been warm this summer throughout the entire country.
Because South Florida in the summer, usually 70, 75, maybe 80 degrees on a hot day.
I've been here 38 years, and this summer is unusual. I don't remember summer like this since like 87, where I walk out.
You were what, like 6 when you moved here?
16.
Oh, okay. So old enough to recognize the weather, and you know.
Old enough to recognize the weather, but not old enough to read hieroglyphics.
Okay.
So yes, yeah. So yeah, we did this one, which is amazing. I think you've got the aperitivo spritz, which is also one of my favorites.
And that is really good how well that.
Okay. So I want you to enjoy the Caesar dressing is great. We make it in-house. The garlic rolls are insanely good. This is 7 years of garlic rolls. I wear a shirt that has a zipper because otherwise I pop my buttons and blind somebody during dinner.
That would be a tragic event. That really would be sad.
It would be a lawsuit that I really don't need.
Right.
Knock out someone's eye.
Now, there's another new bar that recently opened up down the drive that claimed to bring a slice of New York to the drive with their attitude and their presentation. But this restaurant really feels like it could be in New York. I mean, it's got the charm and the smells and the food looks fabulous. Was that by design? Were you thinking when you took this over and decided to brand it for yourself? Were you thinking about the Italian restaurants that you knew from your childhood?
Well, sure. I grew up in the Bronx originally, then Queens, and there was all of Little Italy and everything. We'd go into the city with my parents and stuff, and yeah, this is what I knew. You know, it was always like the veal parmesans and the eggplant parmesans and lots of food and pastas and things like that. And yeah, we wanted to continue to embrace that as we made changes and things. Definitely wanted it to do that. And the tables, this room's the table's a little small. In the other room, they're a little bit larger, but they still, when you start putting all the plates down, it does remind me of New York. Like you've just got all this coming down, always trying to clear and make room for the different things. Did you try that roll yet?
I did it. It's absolutely delicious. I mean, not only does the bread have a really nice texture to it, but the flavor of that sauce is just so rich, and there are so many notes there. It's just like it blows you away. You can tell it's homemade. It's, grandma's recipe or something.
Not my grandmother, but yes,
somebody's grandmother.
Somebody's grandmother, yeah, and we inherited that when we inherited the restaurant. That the bread is made every day. It's when I come in and it's still warm. That's my favorite. I don't even need the garlic sauce because I've got to talk to people all night. But it doesn't matter. I stick butter in it. I'll stick a meatball. If there's a person nearby, they might end up in it. But it's awesome. And yeah, and like I said, I've gained a lot of belly weight as a result of those rolls because I am a bread person. And if they burn one, and gotta love the staff. On occasion, they will burn a roll, and then they'll just scream, "Glen, your roll's up," because they know if it's burnt, I'm going to inhale it. I love burnt bread. It's like my bagel. It's got to be triple toasted.
Right then. So when you decided to get into the restaurant business, this is your first foray into the restaurant business. How did Wilton Manors, the neighborhood, the community, have an impact on what you were doing? Is it a different experience opening and operating a restaurant here in the middle of Gayberry, USA, than it would be somewhere else?
Absolutely. Yeah, being here or being on Las Olas or anywhere else, it is different. Definitely a family vibe. It's definitely community centric. Yeah, and it was the first time. I do nonprofit work, which And it was an extension of that. Like, you know, it was another way to do good in the community, to bring people together, to be a gathering spot, to be part of the community. And this was, why are you laughing?
It's just the karma. As you said, I do some charity work. As you know, at that moment, a cyclist rode down the sidewalk right in front of the store. So I couldn't help it. Sorry.
Okay, I didn't see that. Was he wearing a helmet? That's all I care about. Okay, all right.
And he appeared to be very cute. Although he was traveling a
then
little
I need to
quicker.
go.
All right.
Part of my recruitment. Yeah. Oh, we don't have one on the table, but I'm going to show you one of the things that makes us unique is our pasta straws. So we eliminated plastic straws. Want me to go have someone bring one?
I bet we can have one mysteriously appear on the table.
I bet you we could.
Is there a
Somebody had
beverage around
soda.
here with the pasta straw?
So that is a 10-inch pasta straw.
And why did you choose pasta straws? I mean, Italian restaurants don't usually have pasta laying around, but why a pasta straw?
Because we care about the environment. And a plastic straw, a little history, takes about 200 years to break down the environment. It's bad for the sea life, it's bad for the fish, it's bad for the turtles. Pasta straw will be gone by the end of the evening. And as I tell most guests, if you're here and that goes soft, you've had too much fun and it's time for you to go. And that's the end of your straw. And it's just good. It's good for the manatees. It's good for the environment. It's gone by the end of the evening. It's basically bread and pasta and water and flour, and it's just a great way to mix it up a little bit, and it works perfectly for here. And the alternatives of using paper stuff just don't work. They don't last as well. Now they've come out with some better things since then, but this just seemed to be like the perfect thing to do.
So if you've been to Bona and you've had an experience with this pasta straw, and it's 10-inch pasta straw that they put in your beverage, make a comment somewhere online, hashtag pasta straw, because we want to hear stories about pasta straws. It's not, it's not something you find everywhere you go.
No, I'd give credit to somewhere in California. I saw an article where they were doing pasta straws, and I actually reached out to them and said, "Can we buy them from you?" And they said no. They were too busy, and California's always progressive when it comes to the environment and stuff. So we had to do a little research, and it took about a month to find, a 10-inch ZD or this is a bucatini straw to make it work.
Right then. Now we're sitting in here in a kind of special part of your restaurant. The rest of the restaurant, it's been known as Bona for quite a while. This one has been rebranded as a small kind of cocktail bar, light bites, tapas kind of place, and it has the name Aperitivo. But what I particularly like about this space, first of all, when I walked in here, my jaw dropped. Aviram. You cannot go wrong in Wilton Manors with 10-foot high and 15-foot wide Aviram piece of artwork as the focal point of your room. How did that come about? How did you bring him in here?
I've known Avi for years since he's been down here, and we've worked on other projects. He's famous for doing body painting, and he was in Skin Wars and stuff. He's beyond talented. And over the years, he's helped me out with Smart Ride, and he's painted people, and he's just awesome. And when we decided to add the alcohol to the restaurant, and we were having the furniture built, it just was like sort of a natural. And I went to him and I said, I want something very 1950s, something black and white. And
play it again, Sam.
Play it again, exactly. And he took him 3 days to paint that, and just sat here in awe as he did it. And he captured all the images that we wanted.
And if you're not paying attention, in the middle of that cabinet right there, the two sliding doors on there were also painted by Avi, so they kind of blend into the whole background picture. It's really kind of amazing.
Mark, if you open the doors, the way he designed it, because he's so brilliant, and you pull it apart and you look at the wall, it blends in when
absolutely.
It follows the roof line right there, and he's that talented.
Amazing
that he was able to do that, and so whether it's open or closed, it always looks good. Yeah, he's awesome. He's a good friend. I just adore him.
Now, I also noticed that on the wall, you have some striking artwork. I mean, these pieces, I love modern art anyway. I'm very much more attracted to bright colors and bold images and things like that. And so this display here is just absolutely incredible. What's the story behind the artwork?
So right after we bought the restaurant, and like we said, this room was empty. We partnered with Arts United. And so every month, the first of the month, we get a different artist that comes in. It's hard. It's like my last name. Arts United partnered with us, and we get to focus or to feature a different one of their artists each month. And so it's been everything from male genitalia that's tasteful. It has been women's areolas that I didn't realize what they were, and then I went, oh my God. We have had pop art like this. We've had landscape pieces. We've had dogs. And so each month it changes, and we're giving them an opportunity to showcase their work. We don't charge them for doing it. We leave it up for an entire month. They can use it as their own little gallery for the month. Come in, bring their friends in. Because a lot of the artists, this one is very popular, but a lot of the artists, they do the stuff. It's been sitting behind in a closet, behind a couch. They don't have a gallery to display it. So it gives them a chance to sort of showcase what they do. Because some of them are like not full-time artists, and so this is their thing. And I've actually bought a couple of pieces, and they're at home. I just love them.
Well, and I one of the segments that we did not too long ago with Mike Sansevera, we were talking about the fact that for such a tiny little place, I mean, not much bigger than Central Park,
Right.
This little city,
Smaller than Key West.
This little city has artwork everywhere. I mean, everywhere. There's murals on the walls everywhere. There's obviously art displays in a lot of the businesses. There's a lot of artistic boutiques and shops that sell artwork.
There's the art on the street right now. There's those big statues and things that they've been doing.
Absolutely. There's even little wire sculptures on some of the street lights that you almost don't notice if you're not looking.
Yes. And so, I was looking for them and couldn't find them. And then I'm like, oh, there they are. They're subtle.
Yes, they are. But it's just really, really kind of fits in. Now, if you're coming to Wilton Manors and you're looking for a great meal, you want to come here. Check out Bona. It's an amazing little place, and as you can tell, it's not stuffy. It's got the high quality of what you'd expect from Italian cuisine in New York City or in any great city in the country, but in a kind of quiet, small town area. But it's not stuffy. You're not required or expected to wear a jacket or a tie when you come in here.
You would stand out if you did, and no one would understand why you're doing that. You sometimes have people go, well, I'm only wearing a tank top. I'm like, I don't care. Come in and enjoy. This is home. This is family. I want you to be comfortable. Do whatever you want. If it's your birthday, get dressed up. If it's your anniversary, get dressed up.
Wear your birthday suit on your birthday.
Yes. There are some rules, but you know what? It depends on who you are.
You could make exceptions.
I could always make an exception. I'm single, and so the exceptions are welcome.
And you know the owner personally.
I do know the owner personally. Yes. Yeah. Without a doubt, and he's a pretty decent guy.
Very cool. So if you were talking to somebody and they were asking you about Wilton Manors, they don't know. A lot of people don't know the story of Wilton Manors or anything about it. How would you encapsulate Wilton Manors to, say, a friend from Queens who's never been here?
It's a unique little paradise where you can truly be yourself. You can walk down the street and hold hands. You can sit in front of a restaurant or inside a restaurant and kiss your partner. You can be yourself. You can bring your friends. And then we have a lot of guests that are not LGBT. We've got a lot of very older straight couples that enjoy this community. Probably some of them grew up in New York or in Toronto, that have lived in, down in the village and stuff, and they're very comfortable in an arts environment and love coming to this city because, again, people are just being themselves. And I think one of the things that is, if you're not from here, if you live like in Ohio or like you're coming from a place, and Ohio's bad, but you're coming from a place that's not as big a city per se, and you come here and you're LGBT and you've been living, sort of conservative to fit in, you come here and you can be yourself. There is a downside that if you're here all the time, you get so comfortable with it that you forget that the rest of the world isn't necessarily as accepting as we are here. And as you know, we're living in a very strange political environment right now in Florida where we're banning books and you can't say gay in school and all those kinds of things. So we're like this little mecca in the middle of a much more crazy city or crazy state.
Well, as a testament to that, last night I went to an event already here on the drive, raising money for the Stonewall Foundation. The keynote speaker and host of the event was Billy Porter. And Billy Porter, by far, was not the most extravagantly dressed person there. There were people...
Shocking, because I saw the pictures.
There were people that outshined, outsparkled, and outdragged Billy Porter on the drive.
Some people just like to be the center of attention, and they won't give it to Billy Porter who's earned it.
Absolutely.
So, you know, we'll take those people with a grain of salt and going, it wasn't your moment, you weren't in the spotlight. Let the guy that really spent the money to bring in to make a important statement about Stonewall and about our history shine. You know, but I've met Billy at a birthday party years ago, and I ran into him at a fundraiser for a Canadian Community Health a couple of years ago. We got to sit and talk, and he's generally a super nice guy that cares about our community.
So we can't help but mention the elephant in the room.
I beg your pardon. I said I've been eating garlic rolls for years, but to call me out as the elephant in the room is just rude. We've just met, Art.
So,
and I'm going to eat this because you said that.
I set up this meeting about 10 days ago. Then all of a sudden, a couple days later, boom! You open your mouth, you make a short little statement, and you're on the cover of every print and digital publication on the planet, talking about the fact that your baby, your project, Smart Ride, is having its final year and is closing down. Now, you've talked about why and how and when, and people are welcome to check the interwebs and find out the full story because we're not going to go into it here. Right. But what I do want to ask you is now that you're going to have that extra 12, 13,000 hours a year to yourself, what is next? Are we going to see something new coming up? Is there going to be a Bona pizza truck selling slices up and down the drive? What's going on?
There's definitely not going to be an expansion of Bona. You know, okay. I'm 63 years old. We're supposed to be gearing down at this point in life, so you're not going to see me doing that. But just to be engaged in the community, and with the election coming up, trying to get more involved in getting people to understand the importance of voting and the importance on a national as well as a local level for doing that. But you know, I'd like to take a little bit of time. I got like 3 different things that I do, and it's nice to have one go away and maybe enjoy the drive and at the end of the evening and go out for a drink because I don't have to be anywhere first thing in the morning. So, yeah.
That sounds like a plan. And it would be a great time to go travel to, say, what's that place? Italy. That Italy place. And you could actually be doing research for work while you're testing out the different wines and the different regional foods and the Italian boys.
It's almost like you don't know me. I know. In July, I was in Italy for 2 weeks. Doing just that.
Well, you might have to do it again.
Yeah, you know,
at your age, you probably have forgotten half of what you learned.
As you know.
By now. You know, because I'm the same age. So
suddenly you're Al. I don't know what just happened. Yeah, I do love to travel, so that is without question. There's going to be a little bit more of that and stuff. And I also like to get up to New York. That's where my family's from. And my sister has a second home up in Great Barrington, which is a great, also gay little mecca. And so I plan on spending some time up there as well.
Very cool. Yeah. Well, I wish you all the best in everything you do.
Do you want to try another dish?
I do. I do want to try another dish.
So, sample of the lasagna, our chicken parmesan, and our other signature dish here is a chicken Syriac. It's a blackened chicken and a Cajun cream over a bed of penne, and we finish it with the oven roasted almonds, slitters with fresh scallions, scallions. And then I have fazzoletti, which is a little purse or a money bag that's filled with fontina cheese and truffles, and it's finished in a carbonara cream where we add extra bacon, peas, and onions.
And a defibrillator.
But we have guests that will order that a couple times so we can have it delivered with extra bacon.
Now, I'm just warning out of curiosity because I got to ask, can I order the little money bags just full of money instead of all the cheese and flavors and seasonings?
As well as your credit card when you run it behind the crack of my ass is good. It'll go through. That's how well that's going to go.
If you'd like for me to fill one of those with money, I can.
Well, of course, I can tell by the size of this pasta that we are not squeezing lots of bills.
You'd be surprised how I'm a Jew, how tight I can roll a dollar.
And it all looks so delicious.
Try that. Amazing. I really want to see your reaction because that is one of my favorite dishes. The sauce in that is, I can bury my face in that sauce. Did you burn your tongue or are you enjoying it?
Oh my God, no, it's heavenly. It's like It's so rich and creamy, but it has so much flavor to it. There's so much depth. It's not like, some of these places you go and
Pour sauce over it. Call it
it's
a
just
day.
like out of a can. Chef Boyardee with a little bit of shredded Parmesan on top.
Yeah, no.
Not so
I don't
much.
eat that way at home. I'm not going to eat that way here. I'm certainly not going to serve it to the
And I
guests.
can actually taste. Well, I can see them in there too, but I can taste the bacon in the pot. In the pasta.
And they make it to order, so it isn't. We don't prepare that sauce and then just pour it over it.
Right.
It's sautéed in it, so the flavors get into the pasta, and you're really getting an experience as opposed to just a dish. I'd love you to try this one. I know we'll save some of this for after we finish. But this was named. It's a chicken Syriac. It was named after our first chef, Cyril Syriac. You're probably gonna need to use a fork, which is to your left. I know.
So this is a little
silverware.
chicken fillet on top.
Right. When it comes out as a full dish, it comes on a much larger plate, and there's 3 of them on there, and it's a much bigger. But we gave you a small sample of what it tastes like. Like I said, it was named after our first chef, Cyril Syriac. That was his name, and it's just become a dish that the restaurant's been known for. And we, didn't get rid of it. We kept it and embraced it because it is unique, and it's again also really flavorful. And you can get the crunch from the fresh toasted almonds, and it's just a nice texture. Want a napkin to spit it out because it's okay.
No, it's delicious. It's really good. And I love the almonds. I'm a big almond fan anyway. Almonds, pistachios, lots of different kinds of nuts. And
It doesn't surprise me.
now the sauce. What's in the sauce here? What kind of a sauce? is it?
Deliciousness. It's
Mostly deliciousness.
It's a garlic cream sauce, Cajun garlic cream sauce, because it's a Cajun blackening on the chicken, but it's not a spicy.
Yeah, it's
People
not
say,
overwhelming.
is it going to be hot or spicy? And it's not, but it gives it that extra flavor, and then it's obviously in the sauce as a result and stuff. But yeah, it's a good combination of different flavors.
It is. It's really nice, and the pasta's cooked perfectly. The chicken has a nice, tenderness to it, moisture. It's not dry, and like some places. Everything about that dish is absolutely the way it should be.
Well, good.
It's awesome.
We ordered it in from someplace else because we were worried ours would be good enough for you.
Yeah, so this is part of one of those Pizza Hut combo boxes.
It's more like a
where you get-
DiGiorno's. You pop it in,
Yeah.
and Stouffer's, one of those things, and then you just
Okay.
make
pull
it
the
look
foil
good.
back, and
It's sort of a Robin Williams moment in Mrs. Doubtfire, where you just throw flour on everyone in the kitchen, but they don't do anything. Yeah.
so now I know we've been here for about 5-6 hours now, waiting for them to make the lasagna, because the lasagna obviously is made to order, right? The guy sits back there and starts cooking the first piece
After
of
he
pasta
kills
after you order it.
Well, after he kills the cow.
Oh.
And then seasons the meat. Yes. The nice thing about the lasagna, it's extremely hearty. A regular serving is much larger, and it comes in a bigger bowl without a side of Parmesan, and it's layered.
I can see that, and it's layered, generously. It's not
Yes.
like some places where they sprinkle, a couple pieces of ground beef and a couple of shreds of cheese in between each layer. I mean, this is
No, that's a hearty. It's a hearty
this is
dish.
a meal. If you ordered the entire portion of lasagna, you're probably going home with some.
If you put that on a ciabatta, it's heaven on earth. Even though you've got pasta in there, it's still like you just pretend the pasta's cheese and go for it.
Does not disappoint at all. That is amazing.
And we make our own sauces, so the pizza sauce, the marinara sauce,
Even the beef tastes like it has some kind of, unique seasoning to it. It's not like a run-of-the-mill ground beef that's just been sautéed and thrown in there.
Chef gives some love to everything. It's all about having pride in what you do. And, I don't cook here. That's why we're successful. I know my limitations. I scream curry in a microwave at home. So for me, seeing them enjoy it and take pride in it. If someone likes something, whenever someone goes, "Oh my God," I go right to the kitchen and tell them, table, whatever, just said, "Oh my God, I've never had something better." It helps motivate people.
It does.
Everyone wants to be acknowledged and appreciated for what they do.
That's so true. I tell people all the time. You have to interact with people like that. You have to give them, especially when you can't or won't get anything in return for it.
Right.
When there's no ulterior motive, you're obviously not doing it.
Then there's I believe he gave you the chicken parmesan.
That does look like the chicken parmesan. but I am not going to be able to taste that chicken parmesan.
Okay, that's fine.
Because my resident chicken parmesan expert, who orders chicken parmesan at like every place that even resembles an Italian restaurant.
So he waits at the Burger King for the original chicken sandwich?
He does. So you're going to have to taste this. So I know you've had a nice chance to test that chicken parmesan. On a scale of 1 to perfection, where is that chicken parmesan?
Perfection plus, that is really good.
So that is absolutely the best chicken parmesan you've had all day. All week?
All year.
All
All
year.
right, that's a big compliment. Thank you.
It looks awesome.
It is.
And the sauce too, just looking at the sauce sitting there on top of the chicken parmesan and the pasta, it's so rich and thick. It's not like somebody watered down a can of tomato soup and poured it on there.
Okay, you guys don't need this anymore.
No, you can take it over there.
Yeah, take it
That's
over
fine.
there. The drinks. So refreshing, so light.
Cheers.
That is so good.
So is that. That watermelon is.
And I'm in love. Just seeing the slice of watermelon is like,
It's all about the detail. It's taking that extra.
the devil is in the details.
The devil is in the details. The experience is always better when you're paying attention to the details. That goes for anything. You put a bag of bread out, and everyone's like, "Oh, it's a bag of bread." If you put it on a nice plate, and you take the time to slice it in advance, suddenly everyone's like, "Oh my God, your bread looks amazing."
Right. It's like I used to tell people when you're having a dinner party or something, or a little buffet spread for a holiday, if you take the stack of cocktail napkins and use a glass to spiral them,
Or if you don't have a glass, you
yeah,
just do this.
people are like, that just adds an ambiance. It adds an extra layer, and that's what it's like here. Every little piece here adds something to the experience. You have done an amazing job with this place. I am so glad to have this. And after we're off camera, we're going to try their pizza because we know that is the best pizza on the drive. We're not going to tell any of the other pizza shops, but it's going to be the best. So we're going to check that out. When you're in Wilton Manors, check out Bona and Aperitivo right on the drive, right across the street from Rosie's. And you're going to love it. Thank you, Glenn.
I thank you guys. I sincerely appreciate it. It's always good to meet nice people and have a good conversation.